All right, folks, why don't we check some answers here? All right, one study found that women who gave a genuine smile in their college yearbook were more likely to be happy, healthy, and satisfied with their marriage at age 52. If you look at that study, what's it really about? Well, it's about, you know, this. If you gave a genuine smile in your college yearbook photo, all right, that might be a good place to put the link. It's also a study, right? So you could put on the reporting phrase, right? One study found that, You could also stress the results of the study, you know. Any of these would be, reasonable places to put it. What might not be so reasonable is just a generic phrase, right? Like a genuine smile, right? Or women or something like that. What's this one really about? It's about the boss effect, right? That's even the title of the article. Well, that would be a logical place to put it. Again, you can always kind of focus on the outcome. What did the study find? Well, they're much less likely to smile. That might be a reasonable place to do this as well. Here's a quote. Well, how do we deal with this? Good place to do that. You put it right on the reporting phrase, according to McAndrew. Hard to think of another place where you'd put it. Again, I don't recommend doing the whole quote. That's too long. And it's not like we're going to his faculty bio page, right? So that wouldn't make sense. Take a look at another one here. Well, if you look at that Duryap Harrison article, it's about, what science has to say. And one thing that science has to say is that this is where genuine smiles originate, right? I think this is a better place than something like the limbic system. That sounds like a Wikipedia entry or just a generic thing like genuine smiles, right? Well, if you take a look at this study, what's it about? It's not about Europeans in general. It's not about East Asians in general. It is about, smiling in, ID photos. That would be a reasonable place to do it. It would also, be reasonable to put it here on the finding, the outcome of the study are twice as likely. All right, that's really what the study's all about, okay? And, one last example of that, it's about how, for instance, participants responded by smiling, all right? Hard to know where else. I mean, researchers at MIT research a lot of things, right? I mean, they're not just looking at smiling, and this isn't a study about researchers at MIT in general. It's really about this, I don't know. I mean, maybe another reasonable place would be to, put it here. That's kind of another key component of the study, I guess. That might work too. What's challenging is when you have a whole paragraph that draws from the same source. Where do you put the hyperlink? One thing I see students do sometimes is stuff like this, where they put 3 consecutive hyperlinks to the same source. But that's kind of weird, right? Because if readers just look at this, they're going to think you've got a synthesis, right? 3 different sources. In fact, there's only one source. So, the challenge here is to find a place that you can put the hyperlink in the paragraph that kind of makes it clear that, all the ideas in the paragraph come from that hyperlink. If you put it at the end, that doesn't really work. I mean, take a look at this. Jaffe's article talks about this, but it also talks about all this other stuff with yearbooks and things like that. If you just put the hyperlink here, the implication is, the source only talks about heart stress, So, how do we kind of show readers that really, all these ideas came from the source? Well, you do something here, which is, more of a summative statement, the reliable predictors, all right? And all of these are kind of examples of that. And that's really what Jaffe is, that's what kind of covers all these ideas that come from Jaffe, right? So this could be a way to do that. When in doubt, if you're not sure, just then that's a good time to explicitly name your source so readers know that you're summarizing in this paragraph and you're not synthesizing, all right? And you might do that with something like a statement like this, But, if you take a look at the primary and secondary source module, the other thing we can always do is use Jaffe to identify original sources, check out the original sources ourselves, and then we get something like this where each hyperlink actually does go to a different source.